One of our brethren some years ago spoke of the payment of tithing as fire insurance. Nonetheless, the word of the Lord is clear that those who do not keep the commandments and observe the laws of God shall be burned at the time of his coming.
Travis Wayne Goodsall. So, YouTube, with their attack on Mother's Day against me, have thus incited other people to be abusive and full of hate and threaten and blah blah blah. Good job, YouTube. Bleep you. But also, I got attacked by a October 7th denialist. YouTube did not flag these. We've got a major crisis in America right now, and YouTube is part of the problem, not the solution. Mayday, mayday, mayday. Deceived Mormons in danger. History repeats itself. Logan, or Loagun, is not understanding the context of the story. This was Utah. Protests in Utah to exterminate the Jews. College protests all over the nation, all over the world, and it came to Utah. I'm showing you the signs that they had to exterminate the Jews here in Utah. And so Loagun has no clue what's going on. Apparently doesn't watch the news. Gets his news from social media. And is brainwashed. And so he's asking, was he Jewish? Or was it more so that he spoke Hebrew? Does it matter? See, this is a diversionary tactic to take you away from the issue. Mormon apologists love to use these kinds of tactics. Church is true. Oh, look. Charity. Oh, look. People paying tithing. And this is the abusive part, though. And if you think your people, ooh, that's not racist whatsoever, are the same people as the ones exterminating Gaza at the moment, October 7th denialist. YouTube should have banned this person from YouTube, not just flag them. And so here's the abusive person against my attack by YouTube, my attack from YouTube. YouTube sexist, religious, bigoted attack forces obedience to church. That was the video denied. I had found out that YouTube had taken down my thumbnail picture, and so I was reporting that and also doing a comment reply video to Stanford in regards to prayer, because prayer by all religions is idol worship and thus false. It deceives you, brainwashes you, Catching on to the theme we're getting here? Everything is attacking mankind right now. Multiple fronts to destroy mankind. The human race is under attack. We are at war, and our government is helping. YouTube is helping. Because we've got people who are being influenced by the enemy to become the weapons of the enemy. So, Lisa Desandre, I'm attacked, and I'm using it also to talk about prayer, to get correct scientific-based, logical, Socratic methodology, theory development to learn truth. Prayer. You got to have that initial inspiration. And so she says, enough already. Oh, she's trying to censor and silence me like YouTube did. See what YouTube did? They incite other people not to side with me against YouTube for what YouTube criminally did to me, but to weaponize their viewers against me. That crime is okay as long as YouTube does it. Crime is okay as long as the church does it. Crime is okay as long as it's our politicians, government leaders. Obviously, there's a beef going on here. You are entitled to your opinion. She's insulting me. It's not my opinion. Got the documents. I say I got the documents. I have the financial receipts now from YouTube. An official documentation from YouTube that they attacked me. Wrongfully, criminally attacked me and got paid by the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. It's a fact, not an opinion. This is a bullying, abusive tactic to downplay the seriousness of what was done to me, to victimize the victim. And Lisa has become the enemy of the people. But you need to realize that YouTube is going to flag you. They shouldn't. They're not allowed to. And censor your content. No, they can't. If you use words that have been banned by them. It had nothing to do with words, sweetheart. They thought my thumbnail was porn. See, these people don't even think to listen, to know what's going on. They are triggered by YouTube to just run out and run their mouth as weapons, just like all the college kids protesting. They have no clue what they're protesting. They're there because somebody told them on TikTok to be there. And then they lie. Oh, those big, bad, mean Israelis exterminating the Jews or Gazans. Yeah, the news talked about soldiers getting blown up by a tank, an Israeli tank, friendly fire. And so, yeah, the news is loving it. Oh, yeah, Israel's got to stop. It's going too far now. And so then she goes into the religious hatred. As far as prayer goes, you are out of line. Really? I'm the expert in the field. Are you sure I'm out of line? Are you the expert in the field? Lisa, let's do a search. Let's see if we can find you. See if you really are an expert in prayer. Lisa Desandre. Oh, you're from the Odyssey house. Isn't that for... Again! I did it again! Yes! Yep! Because the Odyssey house, for alcoholics mostly, but I'm sure they probably adjust it for the other addictions of psychological behavioral control, have the 10 steps or whatever it is for AI recovery, or AA recovery. Having a belief in a higher power. You have to. If you're going to be in the program, if you're going to get probationary status lifted from the judge, you're forced to go through this program and to be brainwashed by them. And to accomplish it, you have to show that you have been manipulated mentally, brainwashed, indoctrinated. And so yes, they throw in the religious part of higher power. And so thus in prison, the parole boards love it when you cling to a religion, just as long as it's not Islamist. Because they're terrorists. All know this. Muhammad was the great anti-Semite. So, just like Constantine was. Dear God. I'm awesome. As far as the prayers in the church temple go, they are set prayers set in place by Jesus himself. And now she's threatening me. Watch yourself. Bleep you. The thumbnail on this morning's video that I did last night is Kwaku. And his infamous video, plagiarism, is proof of the truth of the Book of Mormon. And so I just adjusted it because of the topic of the video. The plagiarisms of the 1769 King James Version of the Bible has been tampered with by Christians of the original Jewish scriptures. And so for the Book of Mormon to select specific Jewish scriptures that have been tampered with by Christians, the authors of the Book of Mormon knew damn well what they were doing. They were trying to teach Christians that they're abominable. And that if you're going to use Christian interpretation on the Book of Mormon, you're going to get exposed as stupid. Cows in America? Really? Denialism of history? Denialism of science? Denialism of logic? Do you still live in denial that after Christianity was created by Constantine, that whole war empire fell into darkness? Science, gone. Logic, gone. Religion reigns supreme. God. People who just refuse to learn history and think that they can attack other people who know and are experts in the field. And so, yeah, she threatened me. That's a death threat. Watch yourself. Now, if she were to be arrested by the cops, she'd be crying and going, "Oh, it was just a joke. It's not me, it's God. God's going to smite him down, not me." And yet you were the messenger. Do you hear God? Does he speak to you? Does he tell you to hurt people? Yes. Yes, he does. Are you being treated at the Odyssey House, Lisa? For your problem? Shall we go over the list of your problems that you are in denial of? Where is it? This reference book is getting too big. Here we go. Hang on. Impaired, disabled, diseased, ill, retarded, mental health challenged, psychotic, psychopathic, mental, emotional, behaviorally challenged, unstable, hysterical, mental malfunction, chemical imbalance, extremist, radical, deranged, stressed, moron, depressed, special, criminal, LGBTQ, IAPO+. Religious extremist, religious fanatic, religious fundamentalist, illiterate, crazy, mad, psycho, schizo, schizophrenic, sensitive, mental problems, cuckoo, needing professional help, unhinged, and mental inability. Did she add something? We could say opinionated. Maybe. I know I was attacked by the church when I used my First Amendment rights to petition the government for a redress of grievances. They called it rhetoric, not just a weapon of mass destruction. And so then she falls for the lie, the big lie of Constantine. Christ himself showed us a pattern for prayer. And it was a rote prayer too, wasn't it? And so obviously the Jewish author is not telling you to quote rote prayers when he also condemns rote prayers. People just don't think. He prayed everywhere and in every position he happened to be in. He didn't exist. He's a symbol of the Jewish Christ of the latter days. Bleep. So there is no one way to pray, but it needs to be sincere from the heart. Perhaps you need to think about praying for yourself and your animosity and bitter rancor. She's never even read the Bible. That was the beam in the moat. Because you are not attacking the church or its body, but you are attacking Jesus Christ personally. Yeah, I'm mocking him. I've been mocking him. Yeah, catch on to that? I've got a picture where I show idol god Jesus of the Mormons, idol god Jesus of the Christians, idol god Jesus of Islam. They all failed to show on their big day. The beginning picture of all my videos was the big day. And I do the count up for how many days Mormon Jesus is late. You'd think he was pregnant. And if you don't understand why I would dare mock other people's Christs, it's because they're false. Hello? You mock other religions' false Christs because they were identified as false because they caused harm to their followers. And apparently you don't read your Bible, 1 Kings chapter 18. Elijah versus the priests of Baal. Are they all taking a piss at the same time? Do not come to my channel unprepared. You will get schooled. And the day will come when he will have an issue with this, with you. I'm still waiting. Like I said, 1 month, 8 days now. Just see what Christianity did. That was Constantine. Over 4 billion suckers and losers weaponized by Roman Emperor Constantine 1700 years ago. We're coming up on the anniversary here pretty soon. So 325? Yeah, next summer. Are Christians going to have a big to-do about it? Are Christians going to finally confess? Yeah, Constantine said Jesus is a musion, which means not real. We've been lying to you all these millennia, all these centuries. Will the church confess? Will they? Doubtful. They never confess. Their authority depends on maintaining the lie. So, in the news, there's this thing called tradwives. It stands for traditional. Lovely outfits. I wish they would do more modeling them rather than being up close with a facial talking about how they are brainwashed. Catching on to the theme yet? Seeing the pattern? They're referring back into the days when women were slaves to their husband, sex slaves, abused, put into slave labor, and used for sex, to breed. Not allowed to get an education, not allowed to get a job, stay home, barefoot, pregnant, in the kitchen, wearing all those hot housewife outfits. But nonetheless, no agency. Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints was all about that, and are all about this. They keep telling you Mormons to do this, to go back, to not do what the world is doing, the evil, apostate, anti-Mormon, anti-Christ world, wanting to give women freedom and agency, and an education in science and logic, and a career, let them choose whether they want to have a family or not, rather than be forced into marriage, and to allow women protection from rapists who are denied sex ed. And so, yeah, this is all part of the ultimate, or the final solution for women. I warned you it was coming. Here it is. This is a Christian attack, and thus the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints is an attack. That's why the church is against porn, is because they hate women. That's why YouTube was ordered by the church, paid by the church to cyber attack me, and then incite others to hate and violent threats. And so the war on women is a Christian source origin. And also for LGBTQIAPO+. Remember the list? We're covering a theme. Roe v. Wade overturned. The 14th Amendment, Section 1. The press refusing to make this connection. And so abortion, contraception, porn are all getting banned, rather than promoting sex ed in school. Sex ed by parents. Sex ed by religion. What is the first commandment in the Bible? You don't even read your Bible, do you? And you probably are going to Exodus. Oops. I didn't say the first 10 commandment. I said the first commandment. The first commandment is breed. Have orgasms. It is not good for man to be alone. And thus it is an essential, a basic necessity. But this tradwives has been getting popular because of a porn star, Gwenzgwick. She's Eastern Russian, Eastern European Russian, and she was involved in porn. And from her YouTube channel, she talks about how she went from the porn industry to OnlyFans. And she claims that OnlyFans abused her. How? You have a website, you get to designate how much people pay you to view your content, you get to put up your content. OnlyFans had to back off because people complained. And so housewives and teachers and all sorts of women are using OnlyFans, even the Mormon. Holly Jane, aka Mormon, used OnlyFans and was excommunicated. And so, no, there is no danger with OnlyFans. The only danger was Christianity that got to her. And so now her YouTube content has all been taken down and replaced with tradwifing. But she's not a wife. She's a wannabe. She's not married. And yet she is promoting this traditional wife in all of her content now. And she's just flooding YouTube with tons of video content to replace all of her previous fashion, swimwear, underwear try-ons on YouTube. Because YouTube is anti-women, anti-art, anti-science, anti-education. Unless you want to build a bomb to take to your school, then YouTube says, here you go, here's billions of them for you to learn. And so, yeah, she's talking about how to be submissive to her husband, how to be a good homemaker. Perfection. Right, women? In the Mormon church? What caused your depression in the first place? How you gotta be perfect. You gotta bake the perfect bread. Otherwise, you're an adulterous whore, anti-Mormon, anti-Christ, whore. Apostate. God. Just, why, women? Why? So much abuse and you just take it and ask for more. So, some other stuff in the news. Mitt Romney says that he would let Trump get away with his crimes if he were president. Does that not surprise anybody? It shouldn't. this all rebel Mormon thing. No. No. And so a fourth grader committed suicide. I'm not sure where the particular town was. I'm not sure what the WT whatever logo for the news for whatever state and city was. But it was because of the pressure of bullying. I grew up with bullies. White supremacist, neo-Nazi, KKK, Confederate, whatever you want to call it, they were it. I know their evil minds. They've been brainwashed, being born and raised into it. Right, Mormons? And so, in their mind, the little fourth grader was just a sensitive snowflake and therefore needed to die. That's how they think. If he can't handle bullying, teasing, just having fun, it's just a joke, then he deserves to die. This is their thinking process. It's the same one for women. They're old enough to bleed, they're old enough to breed. Blame it on the alcohol. She's the one who pooped in the bed. She's back doing movies again, I see. The production company for that movie needs to put in a bed poop joke of some kind, any kind. If you want to make that movie the bestseller ever, you must put it in. She needs to own it now. But yeah, it's all about rape them. That's what's going through their heads. This is what came out of their mouths. Yeah, you just rape them. And in the course of the rape, they'll like it. And then they'll want more. And then it's no longer called rape. And then if she's ugly but has an awesome body, you put a double bag over her head. That causes suffocation. They don't care. This is how evil they are as kids. And now they're running our nation and world. And religion. And so yes, LGBTQIAPO+, we just had gay and lesbian back in my day. Psychology hadn't created the other letters. That was not until the 90s with the help of Star Trek New Generations. But yeah, round them all up, airdrop them on a deserted island in the Pacific, and use it as a nuclear test site. These are the people who are running our government. Also, there's an army of Mormon crickets. It's Mormon cricket season, and the Mormon army of crickets are on the move. Hear them crunch. And the prairie dog population is getting extreme. I'm sure they eat bugs, don't they? Is that what they do, is control the bug population? Or the spider population or something like that? I don't know. Oh my God. So, with the creation of Roman Emperor Constantine's Christianity, he did what's called supersessionism. It's replacement theology. He replaced the Jews. Are you really going to tell me you're that stupid? Or shall we go over the list again? To not be able to distinguish between the religion of the Jews and the creation of Christianity in 325 CE. It's bimillennial anniversary next year. Isn't it? No. 1700 years. Jumping ahead. Star Trek has got me thinking into the future. And so, yeah, that's what Lisa did to me. She believes Jesus is real. That the Bible is actually talking about Jesus. Oh my hell. 2 Nephi 29. A Bible. We have a Bible. You got the Bible from the Jews, not the Christians. They were writing about a character who's a prophetic symbol of their Christ, their religion, in the future, as they gave you astronomy dates that were done away with Constantine. And it was after their temple was destroyed. And so how did Jesus save anybody? When the end result was the Jews were exterminated by the Romans. What the hell? And so this resulted in a revisionist history. The prophecies of the future of the Jews are now being turned into literal history, and because they're not literal history, which science has been telling you this the whole time, now all of a sudden you demand that history be revised to conform and comply. Evangelicals sued, failed, 1900. To have creationism taught in our public school system. No. See, Christianity purposely wants to take away other people's religion. It's a terrorist group, just like Islam, just like Mormons. And so, with this religious revisionism of history, so too was the religious cleansing of the Jews. And as such, the Jews are now to blame for murdering their Christian Christ. But according to Lisa, he's going to murder me. Ray Montgomery already did this, sweetheart. I was supposed to be murdered on the final day of the latter days. He failed to show. He got scared. I'm intimidating. My hell. Dear God. So, yeah. So nobody seems to really understand what happened in 1838 to Joseph Smith. Everybody believes the lie. And I added some stuff with the latest bombshell videos I just did for you guys. Warren Parish. Saw Warren in the name that I had downloaded. And so, let's go over this list. Began priestcraft. Section 119. You check the chapter heading. When did it say it was published or written by Joseph Smith? 1838. So was it? Did Joseph Smith betray the Book of Mormon and now practice priestcraft? Now extort Mormons for the kingdom? And sex trafficking and prostitution, because that's what Section 119 is saying. It's a crime. It's the criminal organization. It's the criminal economy. Don't tell me you're that stupid that you can't see it. So did Joseph Smith actually go against the Book of Mormon? Is he now a criminal mob boss? Well, yeah, they said it. Nelson reaffirmed it. But there's a problem here, because Joseph Smith got out of Liberty Jail and never practiced it. Didn't practice it, guys. It was Brigham Young and his Danites. It was their secret combination economy. Thus, only Brigham's church kept and maintained all of these accusations against Joseph. Expo Nevermos, you should have caught this. And so, Joseph Smith was accused of being a sexual deviant, a rapist, an adulterer, child rapist, polygamist. All the memes out there, oh so funny, but they're all wrong. John C. Bennett, caught practicing polygamy. Well, if Joseph Smith was practicing polygamy, even if it was in secret, why did Joseph Smith excommunicate him? And so this claim that he had raped his 15-year-old handmaid by Oliver Cowdery was Oliver Cowdery in a huff and puff fit. He didn't see a rape. Seriously, you're going to believe that Oliver Cowdery was spying on Joseph Smith and was watching the sex? I'm sure there's a porn video of that kind of thing. Should we look? Oh, well, Utah is still banned from porn. I almost forgot about that. It's been so long. And so, yeah, what the hell is Joseph Smith doing excommunicating anybody who are caught in polygamy? And this is Section 132 claims that Joseph Smith was practicing polygamy since 1831, but say that it didn't actually happen until 1843. Wait a minute, I'm confused. Which was it? And so after Brigham Young announced that polygamy will be practiced openly in defiance of the United States in 1852 here in Nose Valley, all of a sudden all these Danites reported in their journal, yeah, I remember when Joseph Smith told me. that an angel with wings and a flaming sword threatened him to practice polygamy immediately in the early 1830s, not 1843. And so 10 years plus passes before Joseph Smith supposedly practices it, and yet excommunicated John C. Bennett. Let's find out when that was, because I think that was in 1843 when Joseph Smith was apparently practicing and sealing people in polygamy. That would be hilarious. Let's see. Excommunicated 1842. May 11th, 1842. The year before Joseph Smith began practicing polygamy. Would have been more hilarious if it was after 1843. In the fall of 1843, Bennett visited Hinkle, Mormon who was excommunicated after surrendering Smith to the Missouri militia in 1838. He's working with the Danites. Oh my God. Yeah. And so, yeah, he also becomes a Illuminati master. Oh good, you put in polygyny. Good for you. Use chloroform. Oh my hell. Oh my hell. Halcyon order. There it is. While he was on Beaver Island in Michigan. While there, he founded a short-lived Halcyon Order of the Illuminati to reinforce Strang's power over his kingdom. And then Strang was mysteriously murdered. Danites, Illuminati, John C. Bennett. Seeing that connection? Inverted pentagram. Oh, Brigham Young inverted pentagrams on the Nauvoo Temple. When was the Nauvoo Temple dedicated? When was the Illuminati founded? Huh, that's a coincidence. I'm sure there's nothing to it. Move along, nothing to see here. And so, yeah, Joseph Smith is also being accused of many other things. We'll cut it short here, get to some of this other stuff. All of a sudden he's becoming a Christian. Jesus is now his Christ. The name of the church has changed. Section 115. What's the date? When was it put in the Doctrine and Covenants? Pay attention, guys. See, what Joseph Smith needed to do after he got back was to publish another edition of the Doctrine and Covenants before he died in 1844. Preferably after publication in the Times and Seasons, he should have put some of that stuff into a brand new Doctrine and Covenants, including his Liberty Jail documents. That would have been helpful for him to prevent what did happen to him. And the Book of Mormon, because of the Christian replacement theology, also became Christian, another testament of Jesus Christ. And so the second coming is now replacing the Jewish coming in the Book of Mormon. There's a problem here, because Joseph Smith's 1838 history was published in 1842. Remember, he should have done another Doctrine and Covenants publishing that would have exposed all of this. So instead, we have to go to the Joseph Smith Papers. And he published it with the wrong name of the church, which was written with the wrong name of the church, if he was supposedly changing the name of the church. Section 115. Did he forget? No. Joseph Smith Papers exposes he did not change the name of the church. But go to Wikipedia. All of these Mormons back in that day, which church did they convert to? What number of president is Brigham Young? Yeah, only this church. This church writes the history of Joseph Smith. Other branch-offs, they don't get an opportunity to correct or at least put it into their biased understanding of Joseph Smith, because it's not the same as Brigham's. And so when you see these anachronisms on Joseph Smith, you know they're lies being perpetuated online. And so, yeah, Joseph Smith never called his name of the Church of Jesus Christ. But you'll see it in the Elders' Journal. Because who was in charge of the Elders' Journal? The 12. And so, yeah, with Thomas B. Marsh getting excommunicated, the Elders' Journal to 1838 was not published until Brigham Young was the president. And so, yes, he put the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints in there. That's why. It was not Brigham, or it was not Joseph, it was Brigham. Brigham was in charge of publishing the Elders' Journals, not Joseph. Joseph had other things to do. And so that's why the Elders' Journals have the wrong name of the church. And there are forged documents and forged licenses to England. Brigham Young was cooing Joseph Smith's church. He was the secret combination. It's right there in the Joseph Smith Papers. All you got to do is read. And so, translator. Joseph Smith, 1835, learned biblical Hebrew, and actually 1836, and was also working on the Egyptian papyri. So in 1838, Joseph Smith is no longer a translator. He gives it all up. It's now called Revelator, but Revelator doesn't have the power of revealing the day and hour of the future. It's just getting ideas and having somebody write them down. That's revelation now. Brigham Young, however, I found a document of his in which he says revelation is astrology, not astronomy, astrology. That's what Brigham Young thought of revelation. And so now the church considers Revelator just a title. You know, if they have an idea to punish Mormons, threaten them to wear the underwear, they call that being a revelator. The word of Jesus revealed through us for you to obey and conform and comply. But again, no, oops. Joseph Smith, 1842, had the stuff that he had done in 1835 published. So the whole claim in 1838, a lie. But they, section 116 is where they use the wrong spelling of Amen to give us what we now know as Adam on Diamen. That whole incident, forged document, never happened. It's the Danite plot to overthrow America in the latter days. And so, also a denier of religious freedom. Touched on this already. Article of Faith, number 11. When was the Wentworth letter written? 1842. So Joseph Smith was not, according to Parrish, planning on overthrowing religion and replace it with Mormonism. Nope. That's the Danite plot of 1838. And so, yeah, 1842, Joseph Smith is still talking about religious freedom. He's running for president. He's talking in his platform about religious freedom. The First Amendment. Not extra and above to overthrow the First Amendment, as the current church is doing. So, Operation Paperclip. Anybody know about it? I've been telling you about it for years. It's where the United States of America gave asylum to all of the abominable Nazis who were exterminating the Jews in World War II. Psychologists who tortured the Jews, falsely accused them of having this list of name-calling, bullying for as many snowflakes as would fall for it, so that they can perform human experimentations on them and eventually murder them. And they were given asylum in the United States of America, not just in other places of our allies. And they were put to work with the CIA, as we all know about MKUltra, which was the use of LSD by a psychologist to Odyssey House. Lisa. And so this is what they've been trying to do to America ever since. They're not thanking their American liberators? No duh. The reason why we took them in, rather than exterminating them for exterminating the Jews as capital punishment required, was because America was run prior to World War II by the KKK. Members of Congress were KKK. They fully supported the Nazis. They were the Democrat Party back then, not the Communist Party that they are today. There was a switch in platform. The Republicans were communist. The KKK were Nazis, fascists, and it switched after World War II because America, having fought with our allies who turned communist, Russia, then produced the Red Scare by McCarthy, with the McCarthy hearings, and the locking up of Disney. And the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints came out and declared, we are not communist, we're fascist. We supported Hitler. Moroni and the swastika. Despite the little kid Mormons who are making a video of how missionaries fled Nazi Germany to save their lives. No, the church was never attacked by Hitler. Nazis left them alone. The church, however, punished anybody who created a Schindler's List How dare you? Article of Faith number 12. No, that's not what it means. No. Hitler went against the laws of Germany. And that's why he was a threat. But anyway. So, Paperclip brought all of these war criminals to America to commit war crimes against Americans. And all kinds of abuses have now been declassified. And so now with AI, this is just a further part of that. Psychology was used. Psychology used to be mocked and laughed at in the 80s. And then they cried, "Oh, you're bullying us, leave us alone." And so in the 90s, yeah, there's this thing called non-binary now. LGBTQIAPO+ got created. And now the world that now embraces LGBTQIAPO+ are now going, oh no, the human population is dangerously decreasing. We're not producing new babies. No duh! Bill Maher already exposed this. Because at the rate in which it increased since 1990s, we expect to have the whole population LGBTQIAPO+ within a decade. The gay agenda turned real. Because yes, remember my white supremacist bullying kids? Yeah, they were talking about the gay agenda. Remember, they wanted to murder them. And so how are the human population going to breed? Oh, Star Trek says, nature finds a way. No, it doesn't. Nature causes extinctions. It does not find a way. And so yes, this involves the UN policy for the nations to decide how to control their own nation's populations. Because they were concerned about the increasing population and they wanted to figure out a way to decrease the surplus population. So yes, throughout my lifetime, I'm hearing all these people talk about how we need to kill people, murder people, to protect the planet. Yeah, and so yeah, you've got all of this psychological manipulation going on because of the Nazis given asylum in America. And so they're attacking science on all fronts. They're attacking logic. Psychology only uses fallacy. They do not use logic. If they used logic, then they wouldn't be attacking America, because truth is not the enemy. Falsehood is the enemy. That's all psychology is about. So yes, the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints embraces psychology with family services, where Kenzie was ordered to go because as a 15-year-old girl, she was sexually assaulted by a married priesthood leader, and everybody tried to cover it up and hide it. And when she wanted to go on a mission at 23 years of age, she went in for her bishop's interview and she told her bishop about the cover-up and didn't understand that that's not the issue that he was wanting her to talk about. And so the bishop called the hotline, and the hotline said, take her to family services. They'll fix her. And so she went to family services, and they said, she's depressed. And they began drugging her. Psychiatrists have to do that. And where do they get the drugs from? Big Pharma. Remember LSD and MK Ultra? Big Pharma was born. And so she still, to this day, is doing videos on her channel talking about how she's got a depression, has to take drugs for it. But she left the church because of the bishop who didn't report the abuse. And now she believes Joseph Smith. Oh, that Joseph. He was so evil. Oops. This is the abuse of psychology, of religion founded by Constantine. They're using the same tactics. Karl Marx. Religion is the opiate of the masses. And everybody says, no, you took it out of context. That's not what he meant. Religion, he said, was good, and you should pray. That's what he's talking about. He's religious. He's Christian. No. He didn't care for Christianity, but he liked how they manipulated people through behavioral control. That's what he's talking about. It's a drug. Psychology is like a drug. And yet they're the ones saying that there's all these addictions. Right, Lisa, at Odyssey House? Porn, it's addictive. Eating, it's addictive. Sleeping, it's addictive. Going to the bathroom because you're late for Armageddon in the last days. Addictive. Pure evil. That's why there's this dichotomous, non-dichotomous categorization of human behavior with psychology. And you'll never guess who created that for psychology. Give you a hint. Mormon. Stanley Smith Stevens. And so, in the 2016 presidential election, remember Paul Manafort got thrown in prison, but then pardoned by Trump for his role in selling Facebook data through Cambridge Analytica, which was Steve Bannon's business at the time. Steve Bannon is in the list of the Secret Combination of America, designated as a hate group, and the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints has their representatives in it to overthrow America, as he sold it to Russia. And Russia used that data from Facebook to rig the 2016 election through psychological manipulation. Stanley Smith Stevens' non-dichotomous categorization called spectrum disorder of the, you know it, from psychology. And so when you went to Facebook and you were asked, find out which kind of Disney princess you are, other things like that, you were asked a question and you were only allowed to give one of 4 answers. No more than 4, only 1. So if your answer is not there, tough, pick one. See, I already knew about this trap because back in grade school, my teacher pulled the color test on us. Which color are you, kids? Find out. Yeah, it was a psychological test so that the teacher can find out what kind of personality and behavior we are in order to control us. For a red personality, you got to be put next to Travis at the back of the room because he's a white or blue, depending on which test he takes, how he answers. I was able to figure it out as a kid that this was BS. Because if I'm just going to be able to put a different answer, then the conclusion is wrong. It's not who I am. So yeah. But I saw the other kids fall for it, especially those Reds. Suckers and losers. They were your white supremacists. The teacher was identifying who the white supremacists are in the classroom. It's a trap. So yeah. And here it was with Facebook now. Psychology uses it. Dominates it. Right, Lisa? Lisa uses it. She gives out a little paper to see how people are feeling. And they're told to answer questions. And they're given a spectrum of questions. Never, almost never, sometimes never, neutral, sometimes, almost, and always, something like that. A spectrum for feelings. It's behavioral manipulation. And so you'll get questions like, when you're drinking, do you get angry? I don't drink. Answer the question. But I don't drink. You must conform to the box categories that they have pre-designated for you to fit in. Don't give them any guff. Do it. And so, yeah. That's the data sold to Russia, and Russia knew how to interpret that to send the specific political campaign ads to the specific people according to what they chose. I would rather be Russian than vote Democrat. You can vote now over the phone for your Democratic president. Call now to vote for Hillary. Yeah, they knew how to manipulate people. And people were suckers and losers. Bought the t-shirts. Reposted on Facebook. Right there in my West Valley City ward and neighborhood. What are you guys doing? Stop it. Manipulated, brainwashed, Manchurian candidate, weaponized. And so, you probably have no clue about what China's doing right now. The whole TikTok thing, yeah, that's China. China uses their cell phones of their people to control their behavior. Psychology. So you have to conform and comply, or you are socially punished. You get a social credit rating. Sliders had an episode similar to this, in which Mallory had gone to an alternate world where if you commit a crime, you are judged on social media. The people determine whether you live or die for your crimes. And so, yeah, that's exactly what China does to suppress their people. If you like playing video games, but your social credit rating is low, you aren't allowed to play video games, or you're only allowed a certain amount of time to play video games. The Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints pulled this same stunt when I was a kid. They had a combined priesthood relief society meeting during the middle of the week, because that's when they held them, and instructed the parents to punish their kids with limited time on TV, because TV is of the devil. It's evil. It is porn. It's creating apostasy. All the same stuff for every single form of entertainment medium that is out there, that has ever existed. From the days of the first carving in stone of a woman, porn! The first cave drawings, porn! It's a Christian attack. Christians are trying to force, the church is trying to force other people's behavior to conform and comply to the church's celestial standards of polygamy and abuse and no agency. Again, not Joseph's. When was Section 76 created? I think it was before the 1835 Doctrine and Covenants, wasn't it? Section 76. Yep, 1832. So yeah, Brigham Young completely destroyed this concept. 1838. Because that was the whole polygamy thing. And so we see that with AI, that this is a more widespread use of psychology. In the 90s, psychologists were able to infiltrate the school systems, so that when you got in trouble in class, or when you bullied somebody at recess, you were previously sent to the principal's office. Well, now you're being sent to the psychologist. And the psychologist is telling the bully that, you know, they're holding back their gay tendencies. Little kids! And that, you know, their desire to bleep the victim up the bleep is proof. And so yes, Maury Povich and other guys back in those days on TV love to do those kinds of shows, talking about, can you identify if this man is a woman or not? Find out when we do our drag show. And not just your husband is sleeping with his sister, cheating on you. Jerry Springer, that's the other guy. And it's all designed to rile people up to one camp or the other, the false dichotomy of psychology. Then you got Dr. Phil, who then emerges from that chaos, and he spreads his chaos, and you're all of a sudden getting movies and TV shows that are now embracing psychology rather than mocking and belittling them as they need to. And so yeah, the church likewise used to condemn psychology. Self-help books, don't do it. Don't do it, and you're going to do it anyway, aren't you? Because there's psychology. The church is anti-psychology. because psychology used to be anti-religion. They themselves are using the same fallacy arguments that religion of Christianity created by Constantine used, and yet the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints is vilifying psychology at the first. But then, because the church owns Utah, the church began to take over psychology, to weaponize it, to defend the church. So Kenzie, I guess it's just Kenzie, thus was abused by the church's family services psychology. And they've already been doing this prior to prevent abortions of rape victims here in Utah. Go to family services, called LDS Family Services, and they had their adoption agency also part of it. And so the rape girl is told to have the baby so that the baby can be human trafficked with the adoption agency of the church to be put into good, righteous Mormon rich couples. Because it costs money to pay for the child in human trafficking. Just like for porn. Your prostituted wife has to be paid for. You can't just go to the temple without paying up. Remember, this church is a crime. And so, yeah, when gay marriage was allowed in the nation, the church pulled their adoption agency. No more. And the hospital they gave up earlier on to the LDS hospital. Yawn. Long video here, huh? And so the church now has taken over with psychology. Now the prophets are talking about, oh yeah, we've got to acknowledge that there are Mormons who are impaired, disabled, diseased, ill, retarded, mental health challenged. So that you then can say, oh, well, the prophets are okay with it, and they're telling me that I need help with my problems. And so you go to family services. And money exchanges is involved because they don't do it for free. And it's a monopoly. But they appear that it's not a monopoly. Because the University of Utah's mental health department, yeah, it's owned and operated by the church. Valley Behavioral Services, owned and operated by the church. Their employees just switch around, have 2 jobs working for the others, and sometimes 3, depending on what they got going, depending on who it is, how much money they need. Because they're not being obedient and staying home, being pregnant, barefoot in the kitchen with their trad wife husband. All these Mormon women working. See how I tied it right back together? Yep, and so AI is similar to China's use of the cell phones to control behavior through cultural manipulation. Psychological manipulation is involved in all of this. That dichotomous, non-dichotomous categorization of human behavior is used on China's cell phones. It's even used in video games, I noticed. Candy Crush. In playing Candy Crush, they purposely punish you for being a loser. You get 5 guys, I guess, or it's a time limit thing. I can't remember anymore. But regardless, once the time is up, you gotta wait until you get another player to play again. It's controlling your gameplay. And now they say that you can, if you don't want to wait, you can pay us more money. And pay us money because it's free. It's an automatic thing on your systems. And they're now saying that you got to pay if you want to keep playing the game. See, otherwise you got to be good. But it's rigged because it's a computer game program. Like a gambling vending machine. Oh, I'm going to get it. One of these times I'll get it. They rig it. Just like in the game. I have watched the rigging. A basic level, as I'm over 1,000 levels in, and they make me wait for weeks because they refuse to provide me a win. Whereas an ultra hard level, do it on the first game try. It's rigged. And so it's purposely designed to control my game playing behavior. The cell phones are used for the social behavioral control in China. TikTok is used to collect the data of the behavioral programming in TikTok to find out what the stupid Americans watch and to help feed what they watch. And so thus, all of the stupid kids protesting in America of something they are in denial of. October 7th, the Holocaust, the creation of Islam, the creation of Christianity, the origin of the Jews. They're just zombies to their computer overlords. That's why TikTok is dangerous. But now creators are suing. You were pawns and puppets for China. And so YouTube. Yeah, all creators are pawns and puppets for YouTube. They're doing the same thing. That's why porn is banned. But how to build a bomb to take to school for show and tell. Here you go, kids. Yeah, and that's why they're shutting me down. It's because I will not play their game. They keep recommending videos that I have no interest in watching. They know what I want to watch because I specifically type in what I want to watch. They know what I want to watch, and they won't recommend it. Because it's a behavioral control on YouTube. They're trying to get people into the category boxes so that you can be controlled. And so with AI, the danger with AI is not that it doesn't have a soul and therefore is an attack on Christianity. It's because of the programming. Psychological programming. Psychology uses fallacy, falsehood, all lies. There's nothing true about psychology. And so if you input incorrect programming into a computer system, what is it going to give you? Yeah, ChatGPT already told us what it gives us. Kill yourself. Murder other people. whole bunch of revisionist history. This is AI. It is not something to help your program run faster, so that you can go to the Joseph Smith papers and be able to show what I manually did through research. Because if you teach in a program the laws of physics, scientific-based math, and put in logical Socratic methodology in it, teaching it that fallacy is wrong, it's a whole new AI. And we would not be in this dangerous situation we are now in, because they allowed a corruption virus in the system called psychology that all originated with Roman Emperor Constantine, who sent the world into the Dark Ages. And Brigham Young did it to Joseph. Ta-da!